I'm back. Oh, I haven't done a live in over 2 weeks. So here I am doing my first live in a couple of weeks. It wasn't deliberate. What happened was last week I went up to regional New South Wales, a couple of hours out of Canberra, and I was staying at a friend's place, seeing her and meeting her new little beautiful baby. And I was totally offline. I had no phone reception and no data either. So I was like literally uncontactable, which was cool. Really, if I'm honest. But yeah, it wasn't deliberate. I didn't know that I wasn't going to have any access. So hence there were no lives, there were no posts. And yeah, it was quite a nice long drive up and a nice long drive back. So and then coming into the unofficial 4-day weekend for Melburnians, with Melbourne Cup having been yesterday. So I was like, all right, I'll just not stress, not worry about it, getting anything done, and then hit the ground running today. So today also is my Waking Women's Collective gathering that I have in the evenings. And so generally on my first Wednesday of every month, I do what I need to do to prepare for that. So my husband helps me set up the room, and I tidy up the house a little bit. Sometimes I smudge. For those of you who are into smoking to clear energy and whatnot, I do that. Sometimes, not all the time, just sometimes. So and so generally on the first Wednesday of each month, I kind of spend the day kind of a little bit ceremoniously in preparation of the evening. I still do work and get things done if I'm feeling into it, but I generally keep myself quite open to just sort of allowing and preparing myself for that evening's catch up. So excited about our gathering this evening. I run it every month, but seriously, it feels like a lifetime ago since early October. So that's exciting. What else? It's so noisy. So yeah, it's gosh, we've only got a few weeks till the end of the year, end of 2019, which also marks the end of a decade. So there's been some cool posts floating around about what do you want to achieve before the end of the decade? For those that like to have a bit of a time frame to sort of get things done, what would you like to achieve before the end of this decade? For me, there's quite a bit actually. I've put together some nice little marketing materials for going into organisations, schools and businesses, community centres, and talking about emotional resilience using joy as the theme. So I've put that together, and I just need to refine a couple of things so that they print and can be folded nicely and then sent. I'm using the good old mail. I've also realized that I have had a severe resistance and reluctance to dial potential prospect clients, and that is going to be knocked on the head before the end of this decade. I talk about stepping into the uncomfortable zone frequently, jumping on doing these lives. Piece of cake, I have nothing prepared, but I've jumped on. There wasn't even any nerves. I wasn't even sure if I was going to do it at this time or a bit later in the day, but hey, got my coffee. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's just do it now. It's been a couple of weeks. So I know that even though I have severe resistance and reluctance to getting on the phone to prospect clients, once I've actually done it a few times, it'll be fine. So it's just doing those few initial ones. Before the end of this week, so we are at Wednesday, I'm going to identify a handful of prospects, and I'm even not going to send them my little brochure first, which was the intention, to sort of soften the call for me, not for them. For me, my comfort zone, right? But I was like, you know what? It's ridiculous how much resistance there is in me. And I'm just like, I've just got to get this out of my system. So even if I'm identifying prospects that I don't potentially see myself working with or have the great desire to work with, screw it. It's a game. Get on the phone, say good day. Ask them what they need. Let them know what I do, what potential solutions we could solve together. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, the simplicity. Yeah. Anyway, so that's sort of, they're my big things. So yeah, got the Waking Women's Collective gathering tonight. There'll be one more. There'll be December, our last one for the year. I don't schedule them for January, so the final one, the following one after that will be February. So give myself a break and everyone else a nice little break at the beginning of the year. Also, before the end of this decade, I've already started a little bit, but just planning out some goals for next year. Also working on the 2020 schedule already. Got a few things already locked in, so just ensuring that timing wise everything that I want to get done is achievable. So yeah, so that's quite exciting. So yeah, there's more I can say, but I might save it. I might actually do 2 lives this week, given I skipped last week. That's a yes. So you will hear from me before the end of the week. What do I want out of this particular live? I guess, yeah, just check in and go, all right, actually, let me do the actual count. What have we got? Yeah, okay, so New Year's Day is a Wednesday. So what do we got? I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be 8 weeks till the end of the decade, which makes about 7 weeks to Christmas, if that's a driver for you. Yeah, so what sort of things do you want to accomplish in the next 8 weeks? I've told you mine, and I'm kind of glad that I've said it out loud, because I'll keep you updated on my progress. I'm going to do it irrespective whether anyone's kicking my butt on this, because it's just gotten too important to not do. The pain has been stacked high enough to force me into doing it. So yeah, what are the things that you want to get done before the end of the decade? Also, what are you resisting? I've shared mine. Now it's your turn. What are you resisting? What's the cost of continuing to resist it? And what are we potentially missing out on because we're not taking action and we're not doing those things that we need to do? And then just weighing those up. I'm not saying you have to do it. It's just acknowledging that there's this thing that I'm resisting that's causing me to suffer unnecessarily. And yeah, there's a good saying. I don't know if Will Smith said it or not, but everything that we could ever want is on the other side of fear. Okay, so resistance is generally fear-based. For me, it's fear of rejection. Someone just going, no, I'm not interested. Now, the funny thing is that my nervous system has got a whole lot about what that means. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm useless, I'm a failure, blah, 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 blah. But the truth of it is if someone actually goes, look, that sounds great, not for me, I'm really not interested, or I don't have time to chat to you today, whatever the rejection message is, that's not going to kill me. Okay, actually what it will do is if it does bring up some rejection stuff, that's awesome because I can then sit and work with that and actually move through the emotions that then brings on. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to save talking about the feeling stuff another time. Yeah, so feel into those. What do you want to get done before the end of the decade, and what are you potentially resisting getting done? So, all right, happy Wednesday, and I will check in with you guys later in the week. Thank you for listening.